Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jared. I'm one of the team members with Podcast Movement, and it is an honor today to welcome Manuela Bedoya. She's with LWC Studios, and today's topic is using social media to promote your podcast. I know that I need that. So you've come to the right place if you're looking for some answers and some solutions. And Manuela has been very gracious. She hasn't been 100% lately. So today she's just going to power through this presentation and give us our best. But we are going to hold off on the questions. So if you do have questions, you can put them in the chat and we'll just give you an email address where you can send those questions. But Manuela, thank you so much for being a part of this today. And we appreciate you bringing your A game and being available. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. First, I want to give a huge thank you to Jared, Shannon, and the entire Podcast Movement team. It is truly an honor to be here with all of you today. So thank you. I hope everybody is feeling good. Like Jared said, I'm a little bit under the weather, but nonetheless, very blessed to be here. So we're going to get right into it. In today's session, we'll be covering how to use social media to promote your show. And we'll be getting into the different ways that you can upcycle your content for promotion. So first, a little bit about me. As Jared mentioned, my name is Manuela. I'm the ad ops lead and social media editor at LWC Studios, formerly Lantigua Williams & Co. I got into the podcasting space not too long ago, but I am not new to the marketing and social media world. I've always had a passion for connecting people to ideas, brands, and products that really resonate with who they are and make them feel seen. I am the curator of the Podcasting Seriously newsletter. It is a free weekly newsletter for podcasters where we share resources, links, hacks and tips, show recommendations, and what's going on in the industry. So I definitely encourage you all to subscribe by going to podcastingseriously.com/newsletter. I'm also inviting everybody here to join us for our weekly Clubhouse sessions, and that is every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. We get into all things podcasting and invite industry experts to share their advice on a host of topics and hold an open space for questions and community discussion. So I hope to see you all there very, very soon. So let's start. Why social media? First, let's look at some figures from this year's Infinite Dial from Edison Research. 41% of Americans are monthly podcast listeners. So podcast listenership has actually grown extensively since last year. It's made a big jump, and it's quickly becoming one of the top forms of media being consumed. 82% of Americans are active on social media. That's 233 million people. Almost everybody in the country is using at least one social media app, and consistently. And obviously we know this, right? I mean, after all, the majority of people we know have an Instagram account, a Twitter account, a Facebook, a LinkedIn. We see this amongst ourselves, amongst our family and friends. I mean, that is just a proven fact. We wake up, we go on social, we spend at least a couple of hours on there. That is a fact. So we use social media not only to keep up with our family and friends, our loved ones, but we also use it to connect with people that have similar interests to us, to seek out new ideas, to share stories and thoughts, find information, or keep up with what's going on. So why wouldn't you put effort and time in leveraging these channels to grow your audience? You invest a lot of time, energy, and hard work in creating content. So why would you not promote it after it goes live? Having a presence on social media can help you attract listeners, build loyalty, increase your audience reach, and learn more about your listeners. So we hosted a listener survey 8 months ago, last year, on one of our shows, Latina to Latina, which recently hit 1 million downloads. 65% of those who participated said they found us on social media. Yep, 65%. Of those 65%, 91% were on Instagram. I mean, these figures were astonishing, right? But we weren't too surprised. I mean, from the beginning, the goal was always to bring people together and build a strong, engaged community around the show. We started with a little bit over 4,000 followers in March of last year, and 8 months later, we were at 22,000. So we'll get into the different ways and the different things that we did to make this happen. But first, we need to talk upcycling. So what is upcycling? Upcycling takes elements of your original content and repurposes them to create new pieces to be used across different platforms and media. So it's all about taking what you already done, what you already have, and reproducing it in a new, fresh way. So for today, we're going to be focusing on reproducing it for social media. Why is upcycling a good idea? So it's extremely useful in social media as a promotional component to your main content, aka your podcast, because it is very easy to create bite-sized pieces of content that can be easily digested, spark curiosity and interest, and drive users to listen to your show. So what original content do we have as we create our shows? We have our transcript. We have our episode blurb or description, as some call it. We have the audio, obviously. And our topics covered or episode theme. These are all things we already have once we publish an episode, right? So we're going to discuss how to repurpose this content. But before we get into that, we have to cover the basics, right? Choosing the right platform. Before we embark on this journey, the first step is determining what platform you'd like to focus on. But how do we do that exactly? The first question you need to ask yourself is, where does your audience like to hang out? What are the online spaces where you would likely find them? Is it on Instagram? Is it on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok? Think about your ideal listener, your biggest fan. Where can we find them? You also need to consider the content that you're putting out and the topics that you cover. All of this will help you determine where's the best place to start. I always say Instagram is a good starting point because it's quickly becoming one of the most popular apps, surpassing Facebook, and YouTube as well. We cannot ignore YouTube, and I will get into that a little bit later. So once you have this down and you've determined where you'd like to focus your efforts on, you need to get into a community-driven mindset. So the key here is to focus on building community, not gaining new followers. Your goal should be to bring people together and build a dedicated and engaged audience around your show through conversation, relationships, and trust. Like-minded individuals that find value in the content that you put out. These are the people you want to attract. These are the people that will rave about your show and feel compelled to share it with their network, which includes others who share those similar interests, making them your potential audience. These are the people you want in your corner. So we need to stop obsessing about follower count. And I cannot stress this enough. If there's one takeaway from this entire presentation, it's that. Focus on building community first. Once you're in this mindset, now it's time to create. So we're going to focus on content that is meant to spark interest and curiosity and will make people want to tune into your podcast. This is where upcycling comes in. So how do we repurpose the content that we already have as we publish our episode? Let's start with our transcript. From it, we can grab pulling quotes that will do just that. Pull in the reader in and spark that interest and desire to tune into the episode. Go through your transcript, pull 2 to 3 quotes that really capture the essence of your episode. I found that keeping it under 4 sentences is the most impactful. You also leave room for that curiosity and prevent from giving away too much. A great quote paired with a good graphic or image will spark interest in the reader and is a great shareable asset. If you're not already transcribing your episodes, obviously this is something I have to touch on, you should start right now. So a great service to do that is Temi.com. It's very user-friendly. You should be generating transcripts for yourself, even if you're not making them available to your audience. Why? They are very useful when you have audio and need to do searches for bits that you're looking for, like pulling quotes. Another way in which we can use our transcript is to come up with discussion questions. So creating conversation around your episode is a great way to get your followers to engage. So this gives your listeners a chance to build relationships, not only with yourself, but with other people. And it's a great way to draw people into the episode. Discussion questions can come from something that you covered on the episode, something that your guest mentioned, or anything that you're able to create conversation around. Both pulling quotes and discussion questions can be paired on a graphic and published on any image sharing platforms like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. You can also use Canva.com to create these assets. I will put a link up at the end of the presentation, as well as the transcription service. So no worries. At the end, we'll cover all the services that I've mentioned. Next, we have our episode blurb or description. This can be repurposed as a caption or a tweet. So whenever an episode drops, what we do is we always promote it across social using the blurb or description first. This is a short, high-level summary of what your episode is about and will capture your audience by relaying the most important details and the value in a few short sentences. It really is as easy as a copy and paste. Now for our audio, the most important piece of our content. So we can use it to create bite-sized audio pieces called audiograms. I'm sure that you guys have heard of this before. They are created by pairing together a section of your episode or a short clip with an image. So this gives your viewers a taste of what your episode has to offer, as well as giving your audience something visual to share and repost. These tend to pop on a social media feed, and you can add cool things like a waveform and captions to make it stand out even more. You know, audiograms are great, and they are so easy to make. It is almost like a no-brainer. We can also turn our audio into video, which we can upload across the web on any website, on any platform at all, including YouTube. So Tom Webster from Edison Research actually recently just published an article with data that revealed that nearly 1 in 5 weekly listeners say that YouTube is their primary service for podcasts. So we cannot ignore that, right? YouTube is a great content discovery engine. And this just goes to show you the importance of having a presence on YouTube. So I cannot stress this enough. Do not ignore YouTube. You can create both audiograms and videos directly on a service called Headliner. So that's headliner.app. And I will put a link in my last slide for that service as well. Now let's talk about your episode theme or topics. Here, it's not really about repurposing anything. It's more about finding ways to maximize this information for promotion. So first, always recommend at least 2 episodes that cover the same or similar topic. You can link them in your episode notes. And for social media, you can create themed playlists. So basically curating a list of similar episodes. And I love making playlists. It's so fun. It saves the listener the trouble of scanning your catalog for related content, or even just completely dropping off and searching in another show. It also helps ensure that your back catalog, your old episodes are still active. You know, we want to show love and promote our old episodes as well. We can't just focus on the new content. I encourage everybody here to track the topics that were discussed in each of your episodes on like a spreadsheet. And this is really as simple as entering a few keywords every time an episode drops. So this will allow you to quickly find related content to create your playlist. And this will also allow you to easily be able to resurface old episodes. So when there's trending news or current events or something that's coming up that touch on a topic that you covered in a past episode, you can actually bring this episode back up, resurface it, reintroduce it, and promote it again. So do not ignore your old content. Give it some love as well. So theme playlists and resurfacing episodes are a great way to keep your back catalog fresh and active. I am going to leave this slide up for a few minutes since this is the most important slide. If there are any questions, I can also answer them right now. Okay. Moving on. Okay, so here are the tools that I mentioned. Yes, you can do everything I just went over with just these 3 tools. So Temi is an audio transcription service. It is very easy to use and very efficient. And you can have multiple users on there editing. Canva is basically your own personal graphic designer. There's hundreds of pre-made templates for you to put your quotes in, for you to use with your audiograms, for you to use for your discussion questions, for you to use for your theme playlist and resurfacing old episodes. I mean, hundreds. I love Canva. It's so easy. It's so user-friendly. And of course, Headliner, it's the coolest tool and a huge time saver. You can make audiograms in minutes and turn your audio into video with 1 click. Like, it's as easy as 1 click. If there's any questions, I can answer them right now.
Manuela, we did have one question from VG.
Yeah.
She says, "How can you resurface past episodes as is or add some fresh content?"
So when I say resurface old episodes, yes, you can resurface them as is. If there's, if there's something going on, if there's some news or current events or something that you touched on in a past episode, you can resurface that old content and just spin it in a new way, just introduce it in a new way. So you can say something like, let's say, next month is Hispanic Heritage Month. And let's say I did an episode on that. You can resurface that episode from last year and say, happy Hispanic Heritage Month. This is, I had a guest on this past episode where we talked about the meaning behind it, et cetera, et cetera. So you can definitely resurface old episodes without even having to change anything. So this is just about being aware of what's coming up, of what's going on, and basically just knowing when to plug that episode in so that it makes sense with the times. Okay, so here are some parting words. Very, very, very important tips. Number one, track your results. Okay, if we're not tracking what we're doing and if it's working, then what are we doing, right? So notice what publications drive the most engagement. If you notice that your followers love discussion questions, they engage a lot, maybe it's time to do that more than polling quotes or audiograms. If you notice that you're getting a really great response with your audiograms or polling quotes, and on those days you actually have a jump in your listenership, let's do more of those, right? Number two, include a direct link. So important. Always include a direct link to your podcast, either in your bio or directly on the post. Make it as easy as possible for people to access your show. Having to get out of an app, open another app, type in your show name, follow it. Yes, it takes 5 seconds, but we're all lazy and we don't want to do it. So your conversion is going to go down. So always make it as easy as possible for your show to be accessed. Number three, be consistent. And I cannot stress this enough. You need to publish at least 2 to 3 posts every time an episode drops, and definitely publish something every time an episode drops. You cannot expect to build community, to build an engaged community by posting once a week or 4 times a month. I mean, this is just like fostering real, in-person relationships. You have to be consistent and you have to show love. Number 4, be responsive. Engage with your audience. Answer back to them, DM them, tell them thank you for tuning in. If somebody shows you love on Instagram, always say thank you, always repost them. They want to know that there's a real human back there somewhere, right? That's what we all are searching for, that human connection. And last but not least, consistent branding is so important. I feel like a lot of people don't think this matters, but it really does. It ensures that your brand is easily recognizable across all channels. And by brand, I mean your podcast. It creates a cohesive identity, like a voice for your show, and builds trust and loyalty around it. So branding is very important. Just make sure that all your assets, anything you're posted, is in the same voice, is in the same energy with, your logo, your color palette. That all matters. So yeah, I hope that you all learned something today. Everything I covered. Go ahead. I hear something.
Oh, well, we did have a question,
Yeah.
if that's okay. Devin wanted to know, how do you choose a good clip for audiograms to share?
Right. So that goes back to kind of like polling quotes, right? So we want to scan our transcript and really pull some quotes that capture the essence of what your episode is about. If your episode is about candles, grab a quote that, raves about candles or whatever you're discussing. So it's all about having that transcript. I can't stress how important it is to transcribe your episodes, because all of this will be so easy if you just have that in writing. Pull 2 to 3 quotes from each episode that really capture what the episode is about. And that can also be used as an audiogram, and you can put the captions on it as well. And you can put your logo behind it. It's very easy. Okay, so everything I covered here is so simple. It's very straightforward, and anyone can do it. It's not going to take you hundreds of hours either, because this is all about upcycling that content that you already have. We already have our episode description, our blurb, our audio. We already know the topics and the themes that we covered. So all of this should be so easy for you. Thank you for joining me today. Here is my last slide. If you guys want to subscribe to the newsletter or join us on Clubhouse every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. If any of you also have any questions, I am happy to answer them. You can email me at Manuela@lwcstudios.com. That's Manuela@lwcstudios.com.
Manuela, we really appreciate your time today. Thank you for the tips, and I hope that you are feeling better soon, and people will reach out and connect with you and show their appreciation for your help today. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me, Jared and Shannon. I really, really enjoyed my time. I'm going to leave this here for a few minutes if anybody wants to copy it or write their final notes.
Absolutely. And this session is also archived in Podcast Movement University. That's free to join. So anybody that wants to check that out after the fact is welcome to do that as well. Manuela, we are going to go ahead and end the broadcast. So we are grateful for your time. Thank you for everyone checking this out, and look forward to hopefully having you back in the near future and talking some more.
Thank you, Jared. Thank you, everybody.
Everyone stay safe, please. Thank you. Bye.